going to move on to Newcastle next, who won 3-2 at Forest. A real end-to-end game, separated by, I think it's fair to say, the magic of Bruno Guimarães as well. And a contentious penalty decision, which we'll talk through in a moment. But I think this kind of game underlines really, and this season really underlines the importance of Bruno to Newcastle. He's kind of the quality that their team like them that's aspiring to do better needs, with that kind of magic to steal a game like this, isn't he, Myles? And I guess the question is, if they don't get Europe this season, can they hang on to him? Because he's fantastic, isn't he?
Yeah, there's got to be a lot of teams watching him, because there aren't a lot of midfielders of his ilk that are available right now. And if it is true that Newcastle, although they have all this money, are kind of struggling with the profit and sustainability laws, they might have to cash in on a big asset. And I think they've got to do everything they can to make sure that's not Bruno. And you could see by his celebration of the second goal, he loves being at that club. Like, he's a cult hero there. They clearly admire him. And he's had a very different kind of season this season compared to last year. Obviously, last year he played a bit further up the pitch. He was getting goals more often when he came in. And I think the introduction of Sandro Tonali was meant to free him up to do that more. Now, obviously, the way that Newcastle season's gone has meant that that's not really been a factor. So he's been a bit quieter, but still incredibly effective and efficient. He probably doesn't grab the headlines as often as he used to, and it was good for him to do that in this game, because he's an incredibly dynamic midfielder. He's someone that I know, if I was an opposition player, would be a nightmare to play against, because he's tenacious, he's got excellent technique, he'll run all day. And I think you saw the quality as in both finishes, actually.
Absolutely.
The second one looks like a better goal, but actually to keep his mind on that ball as it comes over from Trippier and to kind of cushion that volley as well as he did, I think that took a lot of technique as well. So he's a fantastic player, and one that Newcastle will be looking to build a future around, absolutely.
Well, he kind of hinted in his post-game interview that the goal for Newcastle is to get into the Champions League. If not the Champions League, then Europe. You know, that has to be the aim. I don't know if that was a hint from him to say that if that doesn't happen, I may be off. But I wouldn't blame him, because he's the kind of player, Dave, isn't he, that deserves to play at an elite level. And as Myles was saying, the finishes for both of his goals, and I think the first one was probably better in that respect. The way he did cushion it from an angled pass. Was it with the outside of his foot almost as well to get it into the goal? Beautiful finish.
Completely front of his foot.
It was amazing. Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of difference in a game like this, where Forest were struggling to score and struggling to convert. They needed a player that clinical and that class, and Newcastle have got him. So he is one of those players they can't afford to lose, really, is he? He's just class.
I think if you look at him and Tonali, I mean, who could they afford to lose more? I think Tonali, and I think especially with some of the rumours at the beginning of the season are saying about he's not settling like the way he would like to, and I think obviously what Bruno has come in and given to this club at such a pivotal time, when on the back of over a decade of absolute dross, really, for being honest. I don't think they can afford to lose him. But the thing is, like you mentioned, it just looks like he loves playing for this club. I don't think Newcastle were particularly convincing in this game, but they were really decisive in really crucial moments of the game. Like you mentioned, the second goal was a great strike as well. In actual fact, the goalkeeper he actually does this service actually to the beauty of that goal, because he actually gets to it. It almost looks like he should keep it out, but I think he does so well to get a palm on it. But his first goal is out of this world, and I think, like, I do agree with you, Myles. I think his game has actually been quite different. I think that's probably is down to a lot of players missing. I think there's been a bit of instability in that team. I think obviously a lot of players have had to be shoehorned into different positions as well, and that's definitely not helped him and the rest of the team, to be honest. But in this game, that was a massive win for them.